Welcome to Black Economics TV. We have with us today Romeo
Bremmer.
Bremmer. Great
Yes.
to have you, Romeo, a young man who's 16.
Yes. 60.
Yeah, and
Mhm.
he's going to tell us about his amazing life. Romeo
Mhm.
is the author of 9 books. Can you believe? At age 16. Oh my goodness. You are a powerhouse. I was gonna say you're gonna be, but you are a powerhouse. Well done with what you've done. I understand there's a kind of a sad start as to how this all began. So tell
Yeah.
us how you started writing.
So with my first book, I was actually 6 years old when my mom had a heart attack, and then she had to have quadruple heart bypass surgery. So where they cut open her heart, cut open her chest, sorry, and had to take arteries and her leg and take arteries out of her leg and put it into her heart. So at the age of 6, I thought that she might die. Um, and when she was recovering, she referred me to play therapy, where I'd write down my thoughts and feelings. And then after about the 6 week period, it was once a week. My sister had read over all of the notes and then thought, Mum, look what Romeo's written. And then thought, why not put it into a book? So that was how my first book came about, which is Life About My Mummy. Um, this book was more a form of catharsis, getting my feelings and emotions out rather than having a book for having a book, if that makes sense, or being an author. Inside the book, they're all selfies. My mum was an English teacher in a secondary school, so she want someone in the art department to design the book. All the books are all the pictures are selfies. Um,
Oh,
so it's about
oh,
me. But now I've just seen the importance of this book as it didn't just help me, it can help other children going through the same situation as me.
yeah.
And within the first year, I'd won my first award for this book. And that kind of
Oh,
boosted my confidence. Um, Being able to call myself an author, being able to hold my chest high. Her mum and my sister say I was shy at the time, and it boosted my confidence. Um, but yeah, so that was how the first book really came about.
and your mum was able to see the books.
She helped me publish this book
Oh,
along after she had recovered.
is your mum with us now?
Um, yeah, I can call her. She's close. So yeah,
Oh, really?
yeah.
Oh, yeah,
But
I don't mind having a chat with her.
one second, Mom. I don't think she's ready. I think
Okay,
she's very
it's
particular
fine.
about these
I can
things.
talk with her
But
another
yeah.
time. Let's let this
Hmm.
be your time. So it's all right. So that's amazing. So that was your first book. All right, tell us
Yes.
about your second book.
So my second book was in the following year. It was really about trying to carry on writing, if that makes sense. So we were thinking of an idea of a book, and we were thinking, what do I like? At the time, like most 8-year-olds did, they like Lego. So Lego, buildings, and architecture. So my sister and I went around to 24 must-see sites in London, and we'd written a Romeo's Guide to London architecture.
Wow.
So in this book, I went to 24 must-see places in London, such as like the O2, Big Ben, London Eye, the Gherkin, and then I did some research about these places. So you can't really see it on the camera, but for instance, the building type, the address, the nearest station, the telephone number, the website, when it was built, and the architects, and a little bit about the place. So
Yeah.
yeah, that was this book really. It was just a form of keeping the ball rolling,
Okay.
really. Um, and then it was about book two that we decided why not write one book each year, to keep
Ooh,
me occupied over the summer holidays or over the holiday break. Um, and yeah, so
that's a
this book
fantastic
here was just
idea.
was just around London.
Yeah.
So we had days out. It took about a good 4 weeks to take the pictures because my sister and I would take pictures. Then we come home, they realize the pictures aren't good. So we have to go back out again, retake the pictures. So that was really that book.
Okay, okay.
So yeah.
And book number 4?
So book number four, um, book number 4 is really book number 4 and 6.
Oh,
Because they're part 1 and part 2 books. So it's easier just to describe them all in one, if that makes sense.
mm.
Rather than saying I've already just talked about it. So this book is another Romeo's Guide to Free London for Children. So my sister and I again went around London. So I did research where children go for free and eat for free in London.
Really?
Yeah, at the time, I was a bit ahead of the curve before the um before all this situation happening now. But I researched where children can go for free and eat for free in London. So it's parks, museums, attractions, even sometimes window shopping. So in this book, for instance, there's Crystal Palace Park as one of the parks that you can go to. Hamleys is in this book, for instance, not necessarily to buy anything, but as a day out, how all the toys are everywhere. So yeah, that's the museum, the RAF museum. We took pictures outside, and then there's a little information, a bit about the place and the information on this book. And there was so much places that children would go for free and eat for free in London. We did a part 2.
Okay.
But this is book 4 that I'd written. Sorry, this is book 3, sorry, and then this is book 5. Yeah,
Oh, I
5.
see.
Yeah,
3 and 5.
I got it wrong previously, but part 1 and part 2. So when I was 9, and then again when I was 11.
So when you say eat for free, that means that you're taking your own food, doesn't it?
No, that means when children can go for free with a paying adult, of course. Most of them are
Oh,
paying
I
adult.
see.
So the adult would
Oh.
pay, for instance, a meal's £20 for the adult, and then the children would get a children's menu for free, for instance.
Oh, I see. Oh, nice. Very nice. Okay, well,
Yeah.
that's a very handy book. Okay, book 4, please.
Book 4 is Hey Black Boy, which is my most popular book that I've written. So it's really about role models. It's about when a young black boy looks into the mirror, what positive characteristic and what positive role models looking back at him. There's 12 role models in this book and 12 characteristics that I thought best suits a strong man, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So it came about when I saw a cat looking into a mirror, and looking back at the cat was a lion. And I took from it that you can look into a mirror and see someone weak, see someone feeble, see someone easily led, but you can look into the mirror and see a leader, a visionary, and a king. At the time, also there was negative light or negative press on black males, in particular in the media. And I wanted to highlight that there are positive black men doing positive things in the world and the community. So yeah, the book kind of runs like this. It will run, hey black boy, when you look in the mirror, what do you see? I can see courage, for instance. And
Wow.
then courage like that of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. So
Yeah.
it tells you a little bit about the role model. And yeah, it tells you a quote at the bottom. So for instance, that they have said, for instance, Martin Luther King said, if you can't fly, then run. If you can't run, then walk. If you can't walk, then crawl. But whatever you do, you have to keep moving forward. So
Yeah.
with every
Wow.
role model, there's a quote at the bottom.
Mm.
Something within the Hey Black series, we have about 5 books in this series, including Hey Black Girl. Within the back of the book, it always says Hey Black Boy or Hey Black Girl. When you look in the mirror, what do you see? I can see a leader, a visionary, a king or queen,
Yeah.
and then I can see me. Yeah,
Oh, you got a mirror.
so yeah, that's this
Oh,
book. I also won my second award for this book in the same year. This book was one of my most popular books that I'd written to date. So
wow. Oh,
yeah.
wow. Fantastic. Well
We had a
done.
book launch for this book in Tottenham at the time. I was age 10. And yeah, that kind of set the ball rolling, if that makes sense,
Mm-hmm.
more than the other books that I'd previously written, because I can see how being a writer is actually influencing other young children. So at this time, we had started, this is when my mom had started the publishing company. So originally it was just my books. It was just Romeo up until this point. And then from Hey Black Boy, we had you can't have a Hey Black Boy book without having a Hey Black Girl book. So then we had the Hey Black Girl book. So we had another author come in and write this book for us. And then more young children wanted to become authors. So
Oh,
that's kind of
wow.
what set in my mind personally, like wow. So yeah.
Okay, fantastic. What's the publishing company of your mum's?
So it's called YoungLitStars. Um, we have over 25 books and over 60 authors now to date.
Wow.
Our books vary across different things. We're always all of our books are published by Black children. They vary across different things such as empowerment, role models. To have a Black face on a book, it's
Yeah,
more about representation.
yeah.
In 2017, roughly when I had written my first book, there was a study done where there was only 1% of Black majority characters in books were on the cover.
Only
So that's
1%.
disgusting. If you look at our playgrounds now, there's no 1%. We wanted to challenge that,
Yeah,
really.
there's a lot more than 1% in a lot of the playgrounds around the country, really, in
Of
terms
course.
of Black children or ethnic minority children. And in some places it's more like 70,
Mhm.
80% or even 95% are in
Mhm.
the playground
Mhm.
of color. And to be able to have books that represent those people within those schools, it
Mhm.
makes a lot of difference.
Now it's gone up to about 14% of racially minoritized people, but it's still
On the
just
front cover.
yeah.
Oh, fantastic.
But
Ooh.
it's still not good enough though.
Yeah, but
In my
we're
opinion,
getting there. We're getting there.
14%.
From 1% to 14%. Bear in
Yeah.
mind that people of color are probably only about 15% in this country, in the UK.
Mm.
Yeah, we're
If you
only
look at the
15.
world globally as well,
Oh,
that's
yeah. Globally,
mm,
yeah, we're,
yeah.
we're in the majority, definitely.
Mm.
So, what are the other titles you have then?
So after that book, I'd written my mum had got sick again when I was about 12. I remember I was going into about year seven at the time. Um so this book idea started when my mum had long locks that went down to her waist. They were quite heavy as well. And then I was walking in my passage at the time, and they were on the floor. And I thought, Mum, why's your locks on the floor for? I wasn't used to it at the time. Bluntly, that's how I said it. And she said it's because she had chemotherapy. She was undergoing chemotherapy, which one of the symptoms thins out your hair. So the thinning of the hair, in addition to the heavy locks, had caused some of them to drop out.
Oh,
So I'd asked her on the spot at that time, can we write a collaboratory book together about your cancer journey? So this was
oh,
Cancer Mummy and Me. Um, this book
oh,
this book was actually featured on Songs of Praise. We had about a 7 minute snippet in Songs of Praise at the time, talking about the book and talking about how God had brought us through our struggles, to say inverted commas, and how we had flipped the script on that and had a publishing company. So yeah, this
mm,
was Cancer Mummy and Me. It's similar to the cover of Life Without My Mummy, if you remember it.
yeah.
But this book's all cartoon work, illustration work. So this book was really to help other young children going through the same situation as me,
Oh, wow.
especially going off my previous point that I had of not there being a lack of representation. So cancer's universal. It affects loads of people. And at the time when I spoke to my mum after had written this book, she told me that she was she's trying to find a book to help explain what's going on. And then she couldn't find a book with a Black face on it. And how are you meant to really explain something big such as cancer with to a child without a recognizable face, if that makes sense,
Yeah.
that you can relate to. So that is also one of the driving forces behind this book here. So yeah, so that's
Wow.
following on this book, Romeo, Hey Black Boy, UK special. it's a continuation of my previous book
Mhm.
about role models. When you look
Yeah.
into the mirror, what can you see? Um, However, it's just UK people,
Okay.
people of British nationality,
Yeah.
because I felt like in the other book, a lot of Americans dominated the book.
Yeah.
So so you can't put the likes of a Carla, for instance, up against Barack Obama.
Mhm.
It's an elimination process. There's in all of the books, there's some people that I've done research for that's had to be eliminated
Mhm.
because you can't really stack them against each other. So with the UK version, it allowed a lot more grassroots people or
Mhm.
people that would necessarily not be recognized in this book. There's
Yeah,
even
I see you had a picture with a Carlo as
yes.
well.
Yes, that was with my this was with my Hey Black Boy book at that time. Um
Yeah,
but yeah, he's one of my role models.
of course.
So with this book, there's even an increase of role models in this book, which is there's 19 in here. A lot more allows a lot more people to be recognized. This book, my next book, which is called This Little Light of Mine, I'm gonna let it shine. It's an affirmation book for young black boys. The idea of this book came about when that year was about 2 years ago, and it was the highest amount of young black male homicides in the UK.
Oh.
That came down to knife crime, gun crime, gang crime. But however, a lot of them were also suicides.
Mm.
And I took from it that suicide is directly proportional to mental health. And
Mm.
I thought, what could I do to help other young children or young black boys in particular um, know that they're know their worth really, or know that they're princes, know that they're kings, to prevent that. So I go to Manhood Academy Global, which they teach the importance of affirmations previously. So I know how important affirmations are.
Mm.
Um, Reaffirming things into a mirror, um, or even talking to yourself, reaffirming things. So I decided, why not make an affirmation book? There's
Mm.
31 affirmations for each day of the month. I'm just gonna read my affirmation. So the way that it was structured is that there's 10 black celebrities that I'd researched about them saying something positive about being black
Mm.
or be something positive about themselves.
Mm.
And then there was 20, sorry, of people from the community that said that I've interviewed that gave me an affirmation,
Mm.
something about explanation on the affirmation and something that black boys are. And they
Mm.
have a little bit they had a little bit about themselves also on their page. So
Mm.
my affirmation is I refuse to accept negativity in any shape or form. Um, and my explanation is bad things in life is always going to happen. But when I
Mm.
learn to count my blessings and flip the script, life is so much sweeter. And then something that black boys are is that black boy, your ancestors reincarnated, make them proud. So that's this
Mm.
book here. It also comes with a set of affirmation cards to make affirmations easier. So affirmation cards. So yeah. At the back of this book also, I thought it was important to one, name all the organizations that support Black princes and kings.
Oh.
Also, a mental health checklist. As I was saying previously, mental health is directly proportional to suicides. Also, a know your rights police stop and search checklist. Because a lot of young people at that time, even now at my age, a couple years after this book, don't know their rights when they're being stopped and searched, what the police can do, what they can't do. But yeah, that was an important feature in that book. So now my final book, my ninth book now, it's called Hey Black Boy, Windrash Special. Um,
Oh.
so it's another Hey Black Boy book. However, I'd helped four primary school students write this book alongside me. So instead of
Wow.
me writing the whole book, I had four of them have designated parts in the book. So I ran, it was last summer, I'd ran some writing workshops. So for instance, Ishmael um is talking about champion, and then like Sam King MBE. Over the summer, I'd helped for I'd held a workshop, like roughly about, I've held a couple workshops which are like an hour long during the summer. Um and they would sit there and they would research about the young, they would research about the role models in the same format as any other Hey Black Boy book.
Mm.
However, at the end, they were all able to call themselves authors. Last year, December, we'd had a book launch in Hackney, in a Hackney library, which went very well. We had some of the role models come down, and we issued them with medals, all with medals of
Wow.
medals of gratification and acknowledgement in this book. Now I'm 16. I'm not cute no more. I can't, I'm growing out of being a child. It was more seeing other young children be able to be calling themselves authors, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Originally, it was just me being an author and having the publishing company on the side, but
Yeah.
actually directly being involved in their experience of being able to call themselves authors. Just it was just mind blowing. And yeah, so but in Hey Black Boy, which I forgot to disclose, in every single Hey Black Boy and Hey Black Girl, there's a category called love. So love, the characteristic of love is always a family member in
Mm.
this book, in the book. In Hey Black Boy 1, it was my granddad, as he's one of my role models, as I feel like he not only embodies love, he embodies all the other characteristics
Mm.
also. However, in this one, in the Windows Special book, it is my great granddad. So when we were doing research about my great granddad, because I needed help from my family members, because I wasn't alive to be with him, we found out that he worked in TFL, um, London Transport at the time, and what I didn't know, all I knew was that he worked in London Transport. But what I didn't know was that he was a great tailor. He was mentored on Savile Row. He'd also his dad was also he also fought in World War II,
Mm.
and they even found a medal of him fighting in World War II years later. And I was
Mm.
just wow. And something about our books in general is that you wouldn't know these. I personally wouldn't know these things
Mm.
if I didn't come down and sit down and decide to write a Win Hey Black Boy window
Yeah.
special, for instance. It's
Yeah.
just the importance of knowing where you come from,
Yeah.
or and your legacy, if that makes sense, or your roots and how you're going to move on forward, knowing about your past, if that makes sense.
Okay.
So yeah.
Yeah. Understood. Understood.
It's like the quote really from I believe it's Marcus Garvey. A tree without their roots, it's not a tree.
I will just say that I came across Romeo on LinkedIn on the day that he had received his GCSE results. So that would be 21st of August 2024. As he browsed through LinkedIn, some very interesting characters pop up. This particular post said, so yesterday was GCSE results. I passed all my exams with B's and C's and I was crushed. Where were the A's, the A stars, and the A double star that I'd worked so hard for? So, with a broken heart, I decided that there would be no pics, no posts, no WhatsApp stories, just a Nando's free quarter of a chicken promotion with me and my boy. But we had to buy the size, which came up to £16. After a nap and a lot of reflection, I realized there were no A's and the world was still moving. I had passed all my GCSEs and will be starting my A-level studies in a couple of weeks, studying law, politics, and philosophy. And today I'm competing in the NMTF Young Market Trader Final. Now, that struck me as someone who's very ambitious, who works hard, and you're disappointed that you didn't get A's but yet you've done so well in your life already. Now, if you consider all those people in your school, not one of them have written one book or even 9 books. Am I right? Are there any other authors in the school?
No.
Exactly. But I understand you've been disappointed in not getting A's or not getting 8s and 9s in your exams. It's an experience that I had a number of years ago. I didn't get the top grade that I wanted. I got the next best, but I was upset for a lot longer than you were. I mean, you seem to have gone to Nando's and then after a nap, you were fine. I'm like, oh, it took me weeks and months to get over it. So good on you. You got to move on. Yes, the world is still moving. How do you feel about your grades now?
Now I've slept on it. It's been about a week since I had the results. Following in the post, I said it was the following day. And I was in Stratford upon Avon, which is in the center of the UK. And I was trading. I was competing in a competition. I didn't have time to sit down and kind of sulk about my grades.
Good.
It was done. It was written on the paper way before I seen it. That life does go on, as you said. I'm blessed and grateful that I did get what was best, what was possible to move on to the next step. The way that it gets put to me is about it's GCSEs are like keys in opening the next step and what's going on forward. I didn't get what I wanted to, however, the doors were still open for me, which I acknowledge that it may not be open for some other people in my year.
Yeah, and you've got to bear in mind there were probably a few students who didn't get B's and C's. They got, 1, 2, 3s, which are sort of D, E's, U's. So you were blessed.
Of
And
course.
also to say that when you do your A levels, you have another chance to get A's if you want.
Of course.
Yeah, so you have another chance, so don't despair. So you did some work with Ultra Education, am I right?
Yes, that's correct.
Tell me about them.
Ultra Education, it kind of came about when I was 10. So that connection's been there for about 6 years. So when Julian Hall, who's the head of Ultra Education, he put up a young marketplace essentially in at the time it was in central London in the Microsoft office.
Wow.
In the Microsoft store. So there was a floor of all young traders essentially. And I'd signed up. At that point, I had about 4 books, and that kind of was the first and the turning point of one, being an author, and two, selling my books, seeing the monetary side of things, or being able to go out there and talk to other people about my products. So that connection's been there ever since. I went to the other fair in Wembley that he put on. There's one coming up soon as well that I would like to attend. Me and Ultra Education, Julian's a mentor of mine. Yeah,
That's brilliant. That's brilliant.
it's a great organization.
Yeah, he's been working with young people to help them into entrepreneurship, and he's been doing it for many years. So I was pleased to see that you had a connection with them. Okay. Now, apart from writing, what else do you do? Do you have any other hobbies? In fact, do you have time?
Writing takes up a lot of time.
I know.
So unlike other 16-year-olds who have thousands of hobbies, I've now limited mine. So I'm the deputy leader of Hackney Youth Parliament. So that's one of my hobbies. I'm into politics a lot and being able to change things as a young person or be having our voice heard in such a mixed group. That's one of my hobbies. I also like to play football on the side. I also like to travel. I've been to many places across the globe, ranging from Dubai. I was in South Africa last year helping a school out there. I also achieved fundraiser for a library in Ghana. They're refurbishing a library over there. Not the average 16-year-old.
Yeah, but it's brilliant.
But,
It's absolutely brilliant.
but yeah, writing and selling takes over most of my hobbies. However, I do things on the side.
Okay, that's brilliant. And of course, with your writing, you're earning as you go along, which is brilliant. Yeah.
Of course.
I would say that you mentioned earlier on that most 16-year-olds have lots of hobbies. A lot of them don't. I've got to say. A lot of them waste their time. They're on their phone like this, like 10 hours a day, yeah? Or they're gaming. They're gaming all day, all weekend, 20 hours on their game machine. So they could take a leaf out of your book because you're doing some really worthwhile things. So well done.
Thank you.
Do you currently have a mentor or coach?
I have mentors. So I have in Manhood Academy Global, like I said, it's empowerment for young black boys. So it's a youth group of just young black boys where we talk about our week to say, or we talk about issues that other young black boys would face, how we would go about challenging them. We also talk about the importance of role models. We talk about the importance of loads of different things. I also have my granddad. He's one of my role models, as I said previously. My granddad, I feel like is the embodiment of all the characteristics of that a positive man should have. My uncles also, Julian, he's one of my mentors. And yeah, so
Okay, well done. So, what's your ultimate aim then? Are you still going to continue doing a book a year? Are you going to continue helping other young people to write?
I'm slowing down a bit, but I'm more focusing on training of young people.
Oh,
Um,
okay, okay.
that brings the excitement to me now rather than
Oh,
writing the book. Seeing other young children have that same drive that I had when I was growing up. Seeing the doors that's opening that could be open for them as I did, that's really what gets me going. Also, I'm the chief of the Black Book Fair UK marketplace. So I'm now looking for other young black children writers who would, as I have a link with them, as I am also a young black child writer, to help them be able to sell their book each year. So yeah.
okay. Well, I think that we should put the message out there. Anyone who has children who want to write books, they need to contact you.
Of course.
Not only will you help them in terms of how to write a book, but you will also help them in terms of selling the book. And your mum will help with in terms of publishing the book. You guys have got it all sewn up. So well done.
Thank you.
Well done, Romeo. It's a pleasure to meet you. What
Thank you.
career do you think you'll follow later in life?
I don't know. Currently, currently in sixth form. I'm doing law, politics, and philosophy, ethics, and theology.
A levels.
Yes, A levels. So I'm looking for that. I'm going down that kind of path, really. I want to go into law or politics.
Okay.
That's one of my
Okay. All right. Good for you.
so yeah.
Oh, you could do both.
Maybe,
Yeah,
maybe.
absolutely. In fact, there are a lot of MPs in Parliament now who are former lawyers.
Hmm.
It does give you a particular discipline and grounding in what lawmaking is, because that's what the MPs are doing, aren't they?
Kind of like arguments, really, isn't it?
Yeah, it's
Mm.
really good. It's a good foundation.
There's parallels, yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's been a pleasure meeting you. Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much for your
Thank
time.
you for having me. Thank you
I
for
think that we should definitely put the titles and the book covers at the end of this video, and I'll give links at the bottom of the video so that people can see where they can go and buy your books.
thank you.
Yeah, and anytime you're doing a book fair or anything, let us know so that we can let the Black economics community know that, because they're willing to go and support Black authors, products made by Black people, services, and so on. Say hi to your mum and
Thank
tell her I
you.
said well done. And your sister, by the way, does she write as well?
She's planning on to.
So she was very instrumental in you starting, wasn't she?
Yeah, she is. She is.
What's her name? Let's call her out.
Yasmin. Yasmin.
Yasmin. Well,
Yes.
thank you, Yasmin, for nurturing the talent that is Romeo. And I hope that, you both benefit from it in every way possible. We want to continue to encourage you and we'll stay in touch.
Thank you. We will.
Take care, Romeo. you.